Mic check.
Cool. It's on. Yes. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority. Today is Thursday, October 30th, 2025, and we're here for an evidentiary hearing in docket number 250603. GB New Haven LLC application to establish 2026 revenue requirements. We have an agenda in front of us, and we're going to start with appearances from attorneys, then we'll move on to administrative matters and public comment. Attorney Coates,
Yes, Graham Coates on behalf of GB2 New Haven.
OCC.
Prabisha Bandari on behalf of the Office of Consumer Counsel.
Thank you. Are there any administrative matters?
None from GB2.
None from the Office of Consumer Counsel.
Thank you. All right, we will then start with our first and only witness panel on the agenda, which is the GB2 panel. Attorney Coates, do you want to introduce your panel for the record, and then I'll swear them in and they can adopt pre-filed materials?
Yes. If each of you could individually state your name and position with the company, please.
Michael Bruno, Executive Vice President of Strategy and Corporate Development. That one not working. Yeah, sure. Need me to repeat it? Michael Bruno, Executive Vice President of Strategy and Corporate Development.
Hey, good afternoon. Rob Reynolds, Plant Manager, New Haven Harbor, GB2, New Haven.
All right, and that's the whole panel for introduction?
That's the panel.
Okay. Can each of you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Attorney Coates, can you ask the panel to adopt any pre-filed materials?
Yes, thank you. And I'll start with you, Mr. Bruno. Did you prepare or supervise the preparation of pre-filed testimony and interrogatory responses submitted in this proceeding under your name?
I did.
And do you have any additions or corrections to those materials at this time?
I do not.
And do you adopt those materials as your sworn testimony under oath in this proceeding?
I do.
And Mr. Reynolds, same questions to you. Did you prepare or supervise the preparation of pre-filed testimony and interrogatory responses submitted in this proceeding under your name?
Yes, I did.
And do you have any corrections or additions to those materials at this time?
No, I do not.
And do you adopt those materials as your sworn testimony under oath in this proceeding?
Correct, yes.
Thank you. And with that, the panel is ready for cross-examination. Oh, excuse me. Apologies. We do have an opening statement, if it'll be allowed.
Thank you. I did just realize I forgot to introduce myself and my fellow commissioner, so we'll pretend I did that first. My name is Tom Wheel. I'm the interim chairman here, and I have been selected by the panel to be the presiding officer. And I'm joined by Vice Chairman Arconti, Commissioner Michael Karen, and Commissioner Jan Beecher. So we'll pretend I said all that first, but you can move on to your opening statement. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman, and thank you for the opportunity to give some brief opening remarks this afternoon on behalf of the company. I think I already said, but my name is Michael Bruno, Executive Vice President of Strategy and Corporate Development for GB2 New Haven LLC. Wanted to start off just, over 15 years ago, Connecticut faced a shortage of in-state generating resources needed to meet peak demand. This lack of in-state generating resources posed significant safety, reliability, and cost concerns to Connecticut consumers. To solve this crisis, Connecticut legislature passed legislation directing PURA's predecessor, the DPUC, to approve long-term contracts to procure new peaking generation resources located within the state. At the time, in addition to the safety and reliability benefits, state policymakers estimated that procuring in-state peaking generation would result in a substantial cost savings for Connecticut ratepayers, with an estimated savings of more than $45 million each year, net of costs. To encourage robust participation and competitiveness in the procurement process, state policymakers conducted a detailed set of proceedings, now known as the criteria and award decisions, to establish a procurement program that would provide certainty and stability to bidders while delivering the expected benefits to the state. The key concepts included guarantees that winning bidders would be reimbursed for their inflation-adjusted costs each year, earn a reasonable rate of return on equity with a floor of 9.75%, and be provided the opportunity to recover additional prudently incurred capital expenditures. Since its commercial operation in 2012, the New Haven peaking facility has readily delivered the safety, reliability, and cost benefits state policymakers sought to secure 15 years ago. In the past decade plus of commercial operations, ISO New England has dispatched the New Haven peaking facility directly to satisfy electric system needs at critical times. During times of extreme weather events and other grid instability, the peaking units have been available to provide intermediate and local backup generation to Connecticut residents when safety and reliability is paramount. In addition to these safety and reliability benefits, the peaking facility has also saved ratepayers millions of dollars a year in avoiding congestion and other market charges. And now with ISO New England's pay-for-performance structure, Connecticut ratepayers have enjoyed additional revenues from performance payments collected by the peaking unit's ability to outperform other generation resources in the market. While the peaking facility has accomplished this initial set of objectives laid out by policymakers, the New Haven peaking facility is also poised to assist the state in meeting the challenges of today and the future. As Connecticut and PURA pursue a more modernized grid, increasing penetration of intermittent renewable generation will only reinforce both the need and the value of fast start peaking generation as a solution to the intermittency problem posed by renewable generation. Additionally, the local nature of the resources here in Connecticut reduce the need for expensive transmission upgrades to accommodate out-of-state renewable energy resources, delivering even further cost savings to ratepayers. Since Generation Bridge acquired the peaking units from PSEG, I and the entire Alpha Generation team have looked forward to ensuring continued reliable and economical operation of these valuable New Haven peaking assets on behalf of Connecticut ratepayers. Our goal is to ensure these units continue to provide the local capacity benefits bargained for over 15 years ago and continue the strong and mutually beneficial partnership with the authority and the state. We think we have delivered on that promise. In our first AFRR, we were able to substantially reduce the cost of debt from 5.36% under PSEG to 4.27%, an over 100 basis points reduction. And we offered to immediately flow this reduction in debt expense through to ratepayers in the AFRR. This rate is fixed through the note's maturity date of May 2042, which coincides with the initial term of the CFD. The 10-year Treasury rate was 2.37% when the debt was placed, and at this time it is 4.28%, 191 basis points higher, which implies approximately $647,000 a year of avoided incremental interest expense that ratepayers may have been exposed to had the company not secured this fixed rate financing. This year, we have been brought before the authority, again, an issue related to a damaged transformer that currently impedes the facility's natural gas interconnection. At the time the facility was constructed, state policy dictated that the unit retain dual fuel capability with both natural gas and fuel oil. Notwithstanding the fact that the unit retains dual fuel capability, given the economics of the prevailing electric and fuel markets and the fact that the unit operates infrequently as a peaking unit, throughout the facility's life, the facility has only commercially operated on fuel oil. Given the nature of the New England marketplace and constraints associated with natural gas supply at peak times, we expect this status quo to continue and for fuel oil to remain the primary fuel source for the facility for the foreseeable future. Nevertheless, under the CFD and the authority's orders, in the company's view, dual fuel capability remains a requirement, and unless directed otherwise, the company intends to repair or replace the damaged equipment in order to restore the dual fuel capability of the facility. In the interest of collaboration and preserving Connecticut consumers' interest in the facility, we have brought before the authority a suite of options associated with addressing the transformer failure. As my colleague Robert Reynolds can address more directly, multiple options exist in either repairing the existing transformer or replacing the transformer with a new unit. In our view, a full replacement of the transformer is likely to bring the longest term value, as repair options contain uncertainties that may not ultimately result in the most optimal mix of reliability and costs. But nevertheless, the company is committed to implementing a solution that works best for Connecticut consumers, assuming the dual fuel capability of the facility is determined to remain needed. As we hope to have demonstrated in our application and responses to interrogatories, the company has undergone a robust procurement process intended to explore feasible options to restore the dual fuel capability of the facility. If deemed necessary, we view the restoration of the facility's dual fuel capability a responsible, timely, cost-efficient, and prudent capital expense as allowed under the criteria and award decision and the state legislation, and therefore we respectfully request its approval. To close out my remarks, the company remains committed to reliably and economically operating the peaking assets. We believe this AFRR, as proposed, follows the formula adopted by the authority and prior management over the years and continues to deliver the benefits to ratepayers as a result of the reductions to the long-term cost of debt. We look forward to working with the authority in this AFRR proceeding the proceedings to come, and the continued successful track record of the assets. Thank you, Chairman and staff, for the opportunity to address you here this morning, and we look forward to answering your questions.
The panel is now ready for cross-examination.
Thank you. We'll start with cross from authority staff. I'm not sure who's starting, but go ahead.
From the RRU unit. My first question is on the refund that has been approved by FEC as regards interconnection expenses that UI normally charged GB2. You stated in RRU 38, if you can open to it.
There's a RRU 38A and B. Do you know which of the two you're referencing?
32, 1 minute. (32A).
32A or 38A?
So 38A.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. You stated that the refund will be captured in the true-up calculations in future AFRR. And you indicated that you intend to do that in two folds, in the 2027 AFR and then 2028. So my question then is, why will this not be captured in 2027 AFR and it has to be extended to 2028?
Yeah, I got it. I apologize. I just needed a refresher on that point. But the way that the period that is being, the way the refund's being applied, it covers a period that's going to span, it's not lined up with the same year as the AFRR year. So it will receive the refund over a period that spans the 2027 and 2028 periods, or 2026 and 2027 periods. So the true ups would be on a 1-year lag from that. Right. Yeah, no, I got you. Just to.
Yeah, but my follow-up question is this. The UI invoice is for the period June of the previous year. No, July of the previous year to June of the current year. So if it covers that period, why then do you want to separate into two periods? Because the invoice runs from June, like for this current one, June 2024 to, no, July 2024 to June 2025.
Yes.
So that's what I saw in your response. And so why then do you want to apply the refund in two periods instead of one?
I think that the refund is being applied over the subsequent year of invoices. And so it applies to two different periods. I think we're really just trying to follow the mechanics of how the true up calculation works and the timing of the refund that we're receiving.
Okay. But have you received the refund check already?
Let me check with them on that. I believe we did.
Okay. Now, for this current filing, you indicated in the same interrog response 38 that you will reduce the interconnection expense to 36,000. Is that true?
Yeah. I think what we were trying to express here is that we have some flexibility, so we could reduce the cost in the current AFRR to capture the refund.
Okay.
I don't think that's what the normal mechanics would be, but I think we're open to that.
Yeah, you indicated that already.
Yeah.
So I will need for late file exhibit, I will need that revision reflected in Schedule C 2.0, Schedule C 1.0, and Schedule A 1.0.
Okay. Good, right? Yeah.
That will be a late file.
Can I just, can you just lay out one more time the revision that you're,
Yeah, the revision to reflect refund in interconnection expenses
okay,
and to update the 2026 AFR filing.
okay. And Mr. Attorney Coates, actually, question for you before I officiate this late file. This morning in the Gen Con hearing, the company request to reserve late file 1 as a placeholder for a finalized filing of the adjusted AFFR as of the close of record. It's kind of a practice that we do here, and typically in rate cases, we reserve late file 1 as sort of a place to sort of refile any changes up or down that may have occurred throughout the proceeding. Do you want us to do the same?
Yes, and I think conveniently this will be that.
Okay.
So that works.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll describe late file 1 broadly as a mechanism to record any. It's basically the typical format is sort of a refiling of the initial application technical exhibits with any changes highlighted, and then I'll also highlight this particular revision. Does that work for everybody as part of late file 1? Okay, so that'll be late file.
Yeah, and I mean, so as the hearing goes on, we may have other things like this that may alter the LFE. We're calling it 1 now, so I don't know how you want to do that. If you want to just itemize it under LFE 1 as changes we will make to the
Yeah.
final filing.
That's often the best way to handle something, is that there might be a question where, and the follow-up from the cross-examiner might be, could you make sure that that's included in the late file 1 update? But sometimes there's something that's more kind of specific, like a request for a narrative or something like that. That's its own separate late file. So for now, I think we'll leave this one as late file 1 and just ask, because it sounds, Mr. Wada, what you're looking for is adjustments to the schedules resulting from this revision. So that seems appropriate as something that you normally see in late file 1. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I continue? Yes. The next question is from RRU 1. Yeah, from the original filing, from subsequent exhibits, we can see that there is an increase in fixed O&M expenses in 2026. But looking back to 2025 AFR, and then the variations that you showed in your filing in exhibits RRU 4 and exhibit RRU 33, the increase we requested in the interrog for an explanation or a justification why there is so much increase in fixed O&M expenses for 2026 AFRR.
Yeah, so I'm just reminding myself, going back through the exhibits, and I think that, you know, and unless Rob has some additional color here, I mean, the high level view from my perspective, I think it tied back primarily to some maintenance expenses. And, you know, I guess the variance between 25 and 26, about a 5% increase, and between the previous 2 years, it had been basically flat. So I don't know the specific nature of why the maintenance was up a little bit, but I guess from my experience, a 5% variance is not outside the normal realm of variation, whereas actually staying perfectly flat in the previous 2 years is a little bit more unusual. So I think that was the extent of kind of the review that we were able to do there right now, and I know that we were also kind of focused on just making sure that everything we were doing was still in line with peers and within the 2% increase threshold. And then I know we had some responses around that as well, but it didn't seem unreasonable to me.
Yeah. The concern is that from what you said, it used to be flat or within the 5% threshold, but the 2026 AFRR shows 31% increase. From 5% in 2025 to 31% in 2026.
Okay, I'm actually not following you then. Can you guide me to the 31% increase? Because I wasn't seeing that.
Okay. Let me, did you check exhibit RRU 4? And then RRU 33.
Okay, RRU4. Computer, it's acting funny now. Let me look at 3.3 again. Okay, yeah, no, I have those exhibits, and maybe I'm just not focusing on the right line item. Where was the 31% increase?
Check the analysis. When you see
I apologize, we're not seeing the 31% increase.
that's, if you calculate it, you will see the difference.
Which which numbers are you comparing to get the 31%? Because I just want to make sure I'm focused on the same numbers.
Okay. Go to your exhibit 4.
Yep.
Did you see what you showed, the actual that you showed in 2023, 2024?
Mm-hmm. So are you looking at the total?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you compare that to what you are requesting for 2026.
And that's going back to, so you're looking at the 2716 at the bottom of that
Yeah.
RRU4, and then you're looking at the 2935 at the bottom of RRU33.
Yes. And then when you look at RRU1, you see that the difference from 2025 to 2026, you see 163 thousand there. So you may not have the explanation for it now, but I will require a late file for you to update your filing in Exhibit RRU4 to update it up to October 31st, 2025.
Okay, I have late file 2 as update RRU4 to October 31st, 2025. Does that make sense to the panel?
I'm not entirely clear on it, so I just want to check with my.
So you're asking just to update the year-to-date column through October in RRU4?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I think we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That'll be late file 2.
Chairman Wheel, if I may. I just wanted to go back to a little bit technical with respect to late file exhibit 1. And traditionally, how you said that we reserve late file exhibit 1 for technical changes that the company made to change to its initial application. I think what we're looking for and what we're questioning was a process that the company could take with crediting back the money. So it's not necessarily changing the application. So I don't know if you still want to keep that in that late file.
Understood. I don't, with that clarification. So what we're going to do is I'm going to relabel late file 1 to just be a placeholder for any overall adjustments to the AFRR filing as of the close of record. And then I'm going to make late file 3. Maybe it's better to describe that as model revisions to reflect changes to interconnection expenses. Is that a better way to describe it?
No, the earlier one was interconnection expenses. This one is fixed O&M expense. Oh, okay. Oh, revised. Okay.
I'm revising. I'm going
Okay.
back. I'm skipping over the one that we just did, which is
Okay.
the RRU4.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going back to, but just because I already made that late file 2. So now late file 3 is going to be the very first late file you asked for.
Okay.
Which is, just to make sure if this is the label I'm going to put, so correct me if I'm wrong, but model the revenue impact of any revisions to updated interconnection expense. Is that correct?
Yes.
Does that make sense to the panel?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We move to exhibit 37.
Okay.
I don't quite understand what you mean by outage. So if you can help me to understand the outage that you reported under FEC account 553. So if you can help me to understand what is the outage about? If you can describe it, that will be fine for me. Before I go to the next question. Okay.
I'll just reviewing.
You can see that in the Excel line. It's broken down into spring and fall outage.
Describe how the spring and fall outages work.
Okay. So twice a year, we have a summer preparedness outage and a winter preparedness outage. They're typically performed in the spring.
Okay.
It's 7 days each for each unit.
Okay. So what does the outage represent?
Outage represents maintain and balance of plant equipment along with the bore scope of the turbines, calibration of instruments and controls, seasonal readiness items, stuff of that nature.
Okay. Then the what constitutes the cost elements for this outage, both in spring and in fall? Does the cost element change or is about the same?
Typically, the baseline scope of work is the same, barring any expenses with goods and services, escalation there. We have the baseline scope, and then we would address any components that are experiencing operational fatigue or have been a habitual issue throughout the season prior to the outage. So there may be some fluctuation in the expenses there.
Okay, I can see from the exhibits, especially the FEC account 553, that let me go back to 2020,
This is 21.
2022.
Okay.
Just for clarification, we're looking at Exhibit RU37, the Excel file, the 2024 AFRR tab that shows the 2022 actuals.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
Got it. Okay, there's 2022, yes.
I see that spring outage 242. Did you see that?
Yes.
And then the fall 132.
Mhm.
Okay, and then in the same exhibits, in 2025 AFR, there was no outage expenses. Is that true? Is that correct? Sorry.
Is there a reason we wouldn't have done that in 23, or would it get bucketed somewhere else?
So for 25, we're talking?
Yeah, 2025
It's
AFRR.
2025 filing, so it's the 2023.
Yeah.
I think it might just be a mistake in the exhibit. We would have
Okay.
done similar outages.
Yeah, correct. We did perform the outages.
Okay, because you also report the outage expense in 2026 AFRR. Then my next question is, from the exhibit, I can see that the spring outage expenses is usually more than the fall expenses. Can you explain why that is so?
Here it's 100. What last year is 108 in the spring outage, and 28 in the fall outage, and then back in the other one we had, it was a couple 100,000 in the spring and 100,000 in the fall.
Yeah, so I believe in 2024, we had increase in cost because we had that DCS upgrade project, which resulted in extra costs there. Typically, in the spring, we do try to perform a little extra maintenance to get the units ready for summer service.
Okay.
So while there's not a huge disparity there is an increase in the work scope, which would attribute to additional cost.
Okay. All right, my next question is on the same exhibit, 37. I would like to know the difference between repair and maintenance expenses and normal maintenance and services expense.
Repair and maintenance expenses typically would be used for emergent work, such as, for example, typically maybe a failed coupling that just failed due to cyclic fatigue, whereas normal maintenance and repairs is preventative maintenance that's set on a PM cycle, which would be changing filters, HVAC maintenance, balance of plant, any oil change that we need to do, greasing, stuff that's on a regular basis.
Will there be any situation or event that can lead the normal expenses to increase or to decrease?
Yes, depending on the service hours of the units.
Okay. Specifically, let's look at 2026 AFRR. The normal maintenance expenses increased from 249,000 in 2025 to 415,000 in 2026 AFRR. Can you explain what led to that increase?
I would have to go back and look at the maintenance records.
Yes.
I recall that we had a problem with the hydraulic control unit on one of the engines that has a pretty hefty price tag to it. Along with that, there was some additional maintenance that needed to take place as far as lube oil flushing and finger strainer changing for that component. So that I believe that would attribute to the extra cost there.
Okay. I would like to have a late file exhibit to detail the explanation for the increase.
And what's the increase? Do you need that?
The increase in normal maintenance expenses from 249 in 2025 to 415 in 2026.
Okay. And you're referencing by 2025, you mean the 2025 AFFR filing that's showing 2023 actual costs, right?
Yes.
Okay. That'll be late file 4, if that makes sense to the panel.
Yeah, can't even see it, right?
That's what's going on. But I think that primarily ties back.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's some other ups and downs.
So I am done. I yield to my colleague, Mark.
Hello, Mark Benedetti with Reliability, Security, and Resiliency Unit here at Pura. I'm here to talk about the transformer compressor failure. First question, is the company in compliance with all ISO New England requirements and capacity obligations while operating on single fuel only?
Yes.
Are there any ISO New England rules or reliability standards that require dual fuel capability?
I don't believe so.
Not that I'm
Just the
aware
state
of.
requirement?
Yes, I believe the contractual requirement is what we have here.
All right. In addition to the state requirements, what are the benefits of being a dual fuel capable facility?
I mean, there's certainly optionality and resiliency. So I think there's two components to that. There's economic optionality. So there will be times that that gas is less expensive than fuel oil or vice versa, and then that you can have some advantageous economics from running on the less expensive fuel. In the case of New Haven peaking, there are some limitations to that on the gas because the facility is not able to procure intraday gas, and it is a peaking facility, so it's typically not running unless it's going to run on short notice during an extreme weather event, and we can't bring gas to the facility in the afternoon if the real-time prices spike in the morning. Our only option in that scenario is fuel oil operation. If there were a scenario where this is a very long contract, so you could envision a future scenario where the grid is different and maybe New Haven peaking is running for longer periods of time, and you might be able to get day ahead gas and run the facility on gas and take advantage of that. But we do have that limitation, and based on the typical operations right now, we are also seeing that fuel oil is generally the only fuel available when the facility is needed. I think there is still a redundancy and a reliability benefit there, on the in kind of another alternative scenario that I think we've acknowledged we haven't seen, but we could see. If there were a need to run it for several days in a row, even if it was only on certain hours or whatever, you may run into the fuel oil, be running out of fuel oil or not being able to resupply fast enough, and then gas may be your only option, and then that may change, that may be another scenario where there would be a benefit to having the gas.
Are those the main circumstances in which the facility would run on natural gas? Are there other situations, any specific instances that this would happen?
I think when we're doing testing, we like our seasonal testing, we sometimes do those on gas because that is permitted under the way the New England rules work, and that's a predictable run. We're gonna do our seasonal capacity test. We know what day we're gonna do it, so we can reserve the gas a couple days ahead of time, and then we're able to run on natural gas in those scenarios. Because again, particularly we would do those tests not during an extreme emergency condition. So gas would be relatively probably less expensive than fuel oil. So that's what we would opt to do there. And I believe that we have in those circumstances operated on gas.
If the transformer had not failed, what was its estimated remaining useful life?
Typically is 20 to 25 years.
So you would consider this a premature failure or an end-of-life failure?
Correct. Premature.
Premature, okay. What will be the expected useful life of a replaced transformer, excuse me? And over what time frame would the company depreciate the replacement transformer?
The useful life would again be 25 years or so, depreciation.
The life of that. Yeah, to the extent that probably to the extent that that 25-year life on that component was longer than the expected life of the plant, which we would typically for accounting define as the end of the contract, we would use the end of the contract as the depreciation period.
Okay, thank you. That concludes my questions.
Is that it from authority staff?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
We can transition to OCC in a second. I actually just had some quick follow-up, and other commissioners might also. Mr. Bruno, you were just talking about the potential efficiencies to be captured by if there are circumstances where the pricing differential between natural gas and oil could be more preferential for gas. Have you ever taken advantage of that before?
I think for New Haven peaking specifically, only in those testing scenarios that I was describing, because that's the only scenario that we've experienced there where we have foresight where it's possible for us to reserve the gas, on a forward basis to do the testing. On a real-time basis, like during a weather event or something like that, when we would typically see New Haven peaking run, we don't have that predictability. So typically fuel oil is the only fuel available to the facility on that short notice time frame.
Okay. I'm curious, is there I assume there's some equation of gallons of fuel oil producing X kilowatt hour versus CCF of gas. Is there how do you kind of
Heat rate different on gas versus
The heat rate is a little better on gas, but typically it's the same as the liquid fuel.
and we would certainly take that into account.
Yeah.
In a scenario where we had gas available, that would be taken into account in how our commercial team would offer the units.
Okay. Thanks. Did any other commissioner have follow-up for this after this line of questioning?
Okay, kind of a techie question. Have you considered any transformerless technologies at your facility?
I'm not aware that would work for this application.
Probably not. I was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
curious because there's certainly some research going on in that
I
area.
think it would be a good idea, but I'm not aware that it would work for this application.
Get some smart UConn professors to look at talking to you.
Yeah.
I was thinking something else. Oh, about the transformer market. Do you see any, the ability to replace transformers? Has that become more difficult?
Yes, the lead times that we've seen are very long. They're few and far between. They're pretty much application specific now, whereas it's not a one size fits all scenario.
Yeah.
So it's a long lead time.
Some challenges there.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Just a follow-up on the transformer question. How has the federal transition tariff policy affected either supply chain costs, the problems you started to outline in answering?
That's a great question. Since we initially started looking at the transformers, that market has definitely changed. If we had to go back now and get prices, I would expect some escalation there. But for me to say with certainty, I'm not aware of how much that affects this. But I think that we can pretty much agree it would probably escalate the price.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks to authority staff, and we can transition to OCC for cross-examination. We're in the range.
In the wheelhouse.
Hi, I'm Rory Apollonia. I'm accounts examiner for OCC. Good to see you.
See you.
Okay, so. Yes. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start with exhibit OCC 2 spreadsheet tab summary row 14. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, row 14, yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, is it correct that there's no lead time for the Eden equipment?
If you refer to the other tab says new transformer, I believe that it's readily available. It is ready to ship.
Ready to ship, okay. Okay, so moving on to these other tabs here, I can't access the reference documents on tabs repair and new transformer. There's 5 email references on the repair tab and 8 missing references on the new transformer tabs. So it's 6 email references, 1 PDF reference, and 1 Word document reference. I can't open it. Can I have all these references submitted through like a late file?
Of course, yes.
All right, that'll be late file 5. And the reference is OCC2, and the request is to provide, is it all email links, Mr. Apollonia?
No, it's 6 emails, 1 PDF, and 1 Word document.
Okay, does it make sense to just say provide linked documents?
Yes,
All right, thank you. That'll be late file 5.
thank you. Okay, moving forward, looking at the tab new transformer, Excel row 46. Why is the Hiachi ABB new transformer cost figure not included in the summary tab?
Include that one. Was there something going on there?
Yes. I think if you open that email. Just 1 second to review.
Yeah, no
this.
problem. Take your time.
We'll do that either.
You might be able to.
Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties on my computer. Let's see if that works. That it? Yeah, I got it. Thanks, Jim.
I believe this wasn't included on that tab because it's not going to be an easy retrofit to the existing pad that we have and the high side and low side of the transformer. Taking that into consideration, it takes this off the table as far as a cost comparison.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna move forward. So this is the same spreadsheet, but we're gonna go to tab repair, Excel row 3. What type of crane would you use to remove the existing unit from the pad?
Oh, it'd be a rotating crane.
Okay, thank you. Same spreadsheet, same tab, row 11. After draining out the transformer, what happens to the fluid?
The fluid goes to a waste recovery facility.
Okay. Okay, moving to row 14 of the same tab. Can the company generally explain what the rewind work is?
So basically disassemble the transformer. They take all the windings apart, assess the core iron, provide new core iron if it's needed, and then provide the rewind of the coils internal to the transformer.
Okay, thank you. So I see Mannix and Buffalo Transformer both are willing to do a repair option of rewind. So that's Excel rows 18 and 26 for cost totals. Buffalo specifies on row 25 that no new oil will be used. Is Mannix reusing the transformer oil as well?
Based on the condition of the oil, right now the oil cannot be reused. It's contaminated due to the failure mechanism. So that would be an additional cost.
Okay, so with the Buffalo transformer, then why'd you get a quote that they're gonna reuse the oil?
I believe that's how they provided the quote. However, the oil isn't used at the transformer shop or facility. It's used only when the transformer is in its final service application. So that would be something that we do on site.
Okay, talking about the oil here, am I correct to state the oil in the transformer is lubricating the internals, acting as a coolant, dissipates and circulates heat, and overall has a high dielectric strength and, gets the dirt, if there's any dirt that's in there?
Correct, except for the lubrication portion, there's no components to lubricate inside a transformer.
Oh, so the oil is just
Strictly heat transfer.
transfer? Okay.
Correct.
All right, well, moving forward, similar to other oils that you would see, like such as your car's oil, would you agree that the transformer oil breaks down over time and loses its beneficial properties to act as a coolant? Um, would you agree to that?
Fair statement.
Okay. All right, would the company agree that reusing the transformer oil in the one repair case, which I believe is Buffalo, will significantly negatively impact the life of the repaired transformers and the effectiveness of the transformer?
So, yeah, as I previously stated, the oil is not fit for service. And also typically, with a new installation or refurbishment, you would not use the same oil.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad that you're not going to be reusing the used oil. I have a,
Like, you reference your car. you-
yeah,
you
I
don't
wouldn't
put
use
the
it.
old oil back in after you change the filter. Some people don't even change their filter, but
Yeah, that's not smart.
self-changing oil
No.
system, no.
Okay, I agree with that. So, okay, let me go through these questions.
May I? While you're gearing up, just because you raised a really important point, and are there environmental regulations or permits that also apply to this?
The only environmental regulation would be that we dispose of the oil properly.
Disposal? Yeah,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
And that would be through an approved facility.
Okay, so moving forward, so for Maddox, um, so what would be the cost estimate? Is it already contained in the cost estimate right now of using new oil in the repairs?
It is not.
Okay, can you get that and provide as like a late file exhibit?
The cost of replacement oil?
Yeah, for both, if that's possible, for Buffalo and for Maddox.
Yes.
All right, that'll be late file 6, and that the request is the cost of the replacement oil. Mr. Apollonia, are you asking for the quote? Are you asking for the company to get quotes from each of those vendors for that cost?
Yes, quotes for new oil that they would install instead of the used oil.
Is that possible in the timeline of the?
I just want to clarify, it would not be from either of the repair vendors. It would be from a third-party vendor that supplies the oil.
Okay.
Additionally, we would get costs for the disposal as well.
Okay. So, do you want both cost of replacement oil and the cost of disposal of the
Yes.
current oil? Okay, that'll be late file 6.
Okay, thank you. All right, is the company aware of any state of Connecticut construction specifications or specs relating to this transformer?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. All right, moving forward, on the repair tab, row 28, does the company have any photos of the cores?
There are internal photos of the transformer, which I believe were provided in a separate exhibit.
All right, do you know what the exhibit is?
If you give us a couple minutes, we can
Yeah,
come back or,
Maybe like a read-in?
yeah. Sure.
All right, that'll be read in A, which is provide the exhibit where photos of the core were already filed in the record.
All right, thank you. Are you okay? Yeah, all right. So moving forward, I'm gonna go to like general question on repair. So this is OCC2 spreadsheet tab repair, Excel row 7. I see on-site work will cost $82,000. Am I correct to believe this cost will be paid regardless of the repair option chosen?
can you repeat that line item?
Which line are you on?
Yes, so it's tab repair, Excel row 7.
7.
On-site work.
So we get the disassemble. Can you repeat that question, please?
Yes, yes. So I see on-site work will cost $82,000. Am I correct to believe this cost will be paid regardless of the repair option chosen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It may be escalated just because of the timing now. I believe if we look on the new transformer tab, my cost is pretty similar there. But it will be within that ballpark, yes. Either way, the work still has to get done, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna,
Yeah.
that leads to another line of questioning, but I think I'll get there.
It's the oil built in, which that one does not.
So this $82,000, you would need to add that to the summary tab of total indicative cost figures to determine the real cost, correct? It's not already included?
On the repair piece.
Can you go back to that one?
Yeah.
Some of them have it. right?
Oh, yeah, so I think
So-
that's right. So the on-site work that's summarized above is also included below as a line item in each of the buildups for Buffalo and Maddox. So like if you look at row 23 and the Excel row 23 and Excel row 12, that is the same $82,000. It's just pulling it down into those lower tables.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so it's already included.
Yeah, the 80, it's
Okay.
broken out in there.
Thank you. I did not, okay. All right, so let's move over to the new transformer, Excel row 11. I see the on-site work will cost $220,000. Am I correct to believe this cost will be paid regardless of the new transformer selected?
Correct.
Okay. And you are including that cost for each of these different options I see here. Okay,
Yeah,
that's,
Same.
same as the other
Okay.
tab.
okay. Okay. Is there a engineering quality difference between the 5 companies the company can contract with to get the new transformer?
I, I believe they should all have the same engineering aptitude. Specifically speaking for the new application, again, not everything being a like kind replacement. There may be more engineering needed or less based upon the transformer that is procured.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna move over to a tax form.
Let's read that out.
Okay.
You have anything to add?
Not on that, sorry.
Not
We're
on
still
that
still trying to
outfit,
find the
no.
right picture for you guys for later.
I appreciate it.
I believe the missing picture is one of the files that is embedded in OCC2, which I think is already our late file
Um,
5.
so if we can go to exhibit RRU 31. Page 5. There's several internal pictures of the components inside the transformer.
And for what it's worth, they're also embedded in those emails that we're going to provide for you in OCC2.
Okay. Yes, I see them. Thank you.
So does that satisfy read and A for OCC?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so getting back to the tax form. So I'm referring to exhibit OCC 6, page 22. What does the company do with a contractor's Form W-9 request for taxpayer identification number and certification in this context?
In order to disperse funds, we need to validate that they're a legal US entity and that there's no required tax withholding. So that would be the purpose of it.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to move forward to items relating to service life and other topics. So for the record, when did GB2 first start operating? Like a date?
2012, right?
Commissioning of the peaking units.
Yeah.
Yeah, believe June 2012.
Okay. Has the transformer service life, like the one in question in this case, decreased in general over the last 10 years? In other words, are the manufacturers making lower quality transformers, cheapening the product than, 10 years ago?
I have no reason to believe from a quality assurance standpoint that manufacturers would be doing that intentionally. So I wouldn't think so.
Okay, thank you. So referring to OCC 12 answer. Okay. All right, I understand the concern the company has. Would the company be opposed to stopping the repair of the transformer if extensive damage is found and switch to the second option of installing a new transformer? If you find like it's just really destroyed, this transformer would do.
No, we would not. And to that end, this transformer may not be a candidate for repair based on, extended condition, any kind of structural integrity issues, et cetera, which could add to the overall cost of the work. So therefore, it would be advantageous to proceed with the new transformer versus a repair.
All right, yeah, I have some follow-ups to that. So would the company agree it is unlikely the transformer has extensive damage because an OCC 10 answer, quote, GB2 does routine maintenance and periodic review to ensure the unit remained in serviceable condition, end quote.
Given the mechanism of the failure, there is reason to believe that it is extensive damage. Which, predictive or preventative maintenance would not have prevented that situation.
Okay. So you're saying routine maintenance and periodic review wouldn't catch this problem, this failure?
No, it would not.
Just generally, this failure that occurred, did it blow up? Like what's this failure that really destroyed this unit?
Without sending the components out and performing a root cause analysis, I wouldn't be able to give you a definitive answer on that.
Okay.
It's
You couldn't give it to me like a late file exhibit? You would have to send it out. It would take a long time.
yes, at an additional cost incurred and
Money, yeah.
and not getting us to the end result of getting this equipment back in service.
Okay, so I'm gonna. Yes, you can go.
Mr. Beecher had a second, but he wants to let you finish your thought first.
All right, I was just gonna ask another question. You can go ahead.
I don't want to get on your bad side.
No, you're good.
We met.
Good.
Okay. Just related to the questions, is there any potential for any manufacturer's liability here, and is there any applicable insurance to this particular facility?
As far as the manufacturer's liability or any kind of manufacturing defects, we're well outside of that period where there would be any liability. As far as insurance, I'm not aware that we have specific insurance on, down to the component level.
It's below the deductible in our insurance policy, so maybe the cost would still fall on us.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I'm gonna move to OCC 13 answer.
Sorry, dude. Sorry to do this again to you, Mr. Apollonia. I had one follow-up question on that same topic, and it's sort of following up on what something Mr. Apollonia was asking about. We're seeing quotes for repair or replacement, and I think Mr. Reynolds, you were referencing that there's a possibility that it's not repairable. Is there some sort of evaluation? Like, could a repair vendor perform that initial evaluation to determine whether it's repairable? Is there some sort of process to sort of evaluate that before proceeding with either a repair or a replacement?
So we have had conversations with some repair vendors just to determine what the extent of the damage is and if it's repairable. The problem that you run into there is if you send it to one shop versus another and they start getting into it, disassemble it, and see that possibly the damage can be repaired, but they don't have the capabilities. Now we need to package that up and find someone else that wants to assume someone else's work had already started. So kind of going down that trajectory, it really is cost prohibitive at that point, because now we're spending money on a goose chase where, we send it to one vendor, they may have one opinion, they can't do the work, we send it to another shop. They may say that the damage is caused by the previous shop, and now we're paying for, basically semantics. And, at that point, again, it just kind of proves we should be leaning towards new versus a so a new used one, or refurbish this one.
But isn't there, I mean, it seems to me, isn't there sort of a middle ground, like where in your hypothetical where if you have an initial vendor take it apart and they decide, I can't handle this, couldn't that in and of itself be a moment for an internal decision of a cost benefit analysis of like, it's probably not worth pulling new vendors in here. This maybe is the signal to replace entirely.
And I
guess
think
I'm just wondering, it seems odd to me that this is being presented as this binary choice, but without like sort of an initial evaluation of like internally of which one makes more sense.
so internally, we've had those discussions, and which has led us to ultimately presenting the replacement option. We wanted to take this opportunity to talk to the group, to get some buy-in, input, feedback, to ultimately make sure that we're going down the right course. It is a significant amount of money, and to invest some money into something that is not useful is really not prudent for anyone in this room. So, to that end, yes, we have had the internal discussions, but we wanted to take the time to encompass all of the data that we've gathered to this point and present it.
Thanks. And go ahead, Mr. Apollonia, unless the panel had anything else to add on that. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So, yeah, moving forward to OCC 13 answer. So here, the plant's use of gas and essentially the connection to the gas pipeline is a secondary safety. In other words, the plant runs on ULSK, which means ultra low sulfur kerosene, and the gas connection is only for emergency case, correct?
I don't know that I would characterize it as emergency case. I think that it is, we have no restrictions economically or, on opting to run on gas. The restriction is that because of the nature of our gas interconnection and our gas supply arrangement, like I mentioned earlier, we can't procure intraday gas. So it's actually in the scenario where New Haven peaking is most likely to run, fuel oil is the only fuel available to us. And actually the places where we have used gas is actually for testing. It's kind of the inverse. As opposed to an emergency, it's when we have a high degree of predictability of when we're going to run that we can use gas.
Yeah.
Right. So I see in the response to OCC 13, essentially you say here you've never been offered or operated economically on gas. And this transformer that had this major problem, is it related to the gas?
Correct.
Okay, so it must have, pardon my language here, but it blew up when you were testing the gas, correct?
No, it had failed without any notice, or, it was in its normal state of service. There was no abnormal activities happening, equipment operation malfunctions, nothing. It had failed just out of the blue. Just for background purposes, this transformer is a step-down transformer that takes 13.8, converts it to 4160. And then that's what powers the fuel gas compressor block. So without that equipment, we are unable to operate the fuel gas compressors to get the gas pressure up to 600 to 700 PSI to run the engines on gas.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yep.
I think I understand what you're saying, but so you tried to run it on gas. However, the transformer already had the failure, correct? It was unrelated to you running.
That's
the
not
test.
correct.
That's not correct.
No. The transformer failed with normal station service load on it, which is just light and power for the fuel gas compressor auxiliary block. So the transformer powers lights, heaters, lube oil pumps, gas compressor motors, things of that nature that support us to compress the gas, to run the engine on gas. It was just in service at a steady standby state. So we were not trying to run on gas. We were not testing on gas. We were not doing anything yet. It had failed at, oh man, it was midnight? No, 3 a.m. So
All right, I'm sorry for the failure, you know, we were all in this situation. But I'm trying to understand, I think I'm getting a better grasp of it. But when you're running on your ultra-low sulfur kerosene, is this transform, it's not involved, correct?
correct,
Okay, and this is, so you use this transformer when you're running on gas, correct?
correct.
Okay, and you run on gas only to test the emergency, you know, that you can run on gas, correct?
No, so
Oh,
as previously stated, we have run on gas in the past to perform scheduled testings evolutions, such as a seasonal claim test or an emissions test. Outside of that, we do not operate on gas.
all right, thank you for that. I understand now. So that's all the questions I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, Pravisha Bandari, staff attorney for the OCC. So I have a few more questions about the transformer failure. I'd like to start by touching on the conversation you just had about your use of natural gas for testing. So outside of testing, the facility does not run on natural gas. It will run solely on liquid fuel, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And has any test,
Sorry, I might just clarify, that's typically the case. If there were a circumstance where that we have not seen, there could be a circumstance where we expected the facility to run for 2 or 3 days at a time, and we could run on natural gas in that circumstance. That is not something that we have seen in the history of the facility, and we don't expect to anytime soon. I just want to clarify that it's not quite the case that we can't outside of testing. It's just we need to have at least, you know, a day plus foresight that we are going to be running.
understood. And has any testing been done since the transformer's failure?
On gas?
Yes.
No.
No. So there's been testing while running on liquid fuel?
Correct.
Okay. And can you explain some of the differences between natural gas and liquid fuel? I know you talked about heating differences earlier, but is there anything else?
So the heat rate difference is one thing. The liquid fuel, I mean, as far as like from a permitting standpoint or compliance standpoint, or what,
Just in general?
in general,
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't know any stark differences between the qualities of fuel. Obviously, the liquid fuel requires on-site storage. Natural gas does not.
So there's limitation to the storage for that, to the runtime for that reason.
So that does limit the amount of time that we can run the engines just based on the supply of the fuel, whereas natural gas would be readily available on the pipe as long as there's no constraints there.
There's also different emissions characteristics.
Yeah, outside of that, you know, from a air permit standpoint, we do have different environmental limitations on the engines. So that would be a difference.
Okay. And what has been the financial impact of relying solely on liquid fuel over the last 6 months or so?
I think, yes, you mean for testing, if we, what's the
Yes.
cost of the fact that we've tested on fuel oil versus natural gas?
Yes.
I think we'd have to go, I wouldn't want to give you an off the cuff number. We could probably go back and calculate something. I don't think it's a massive number. I mean, I would imagine it's greater than zero, but it's not gonna be hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that.
Yes, could we get a late file on that, please?
That'll be late file 7, and Attorney Bandari, could you help me out with a prompt?
Sure. So it will be about the financial impact of relying solely on liquid fuel over the last 6 months or so, and that's specific to testing.
That makes sense to the panel.
Yeah, we can calculate that.
Mhm.
Thank you. That'll be late file 7.
So last question, you mentioned that diesel backup generation could be a potential short-term solution to restore the transformer's dual fuel capabilities, but note that it could require modification to the company's air permits. Can you provide more details about this? What permits does the company currently have? What would the process be, the cost of the modification, et cetera?
As far as the cost, we'll have to look into that, but it would be a modification to our Title V permit. Because now we would be using diesel generator to supply regular power to equipment, which is outside of an emergency use situation. Additionally, to incur the cost of rental generators and or permitting for installing diesel generators to run this equipment is not a financially responsible decision based on that these units are typically not run or offered on gas. So as a contingency, last line of defense, doomsday scenario, we could have the capability on a generator, but now we're talking about incurring rental costs on a weekly or monthly basis, fueling them. So then you have environmental implications there, and then the air permit to run these generators on a 24/7 basis or whatever other time basis that we would need to operate the gas compressors, let alone the size of the generators that we would need. We're talking about, this is an 8 MW transformer, which is a pretty significant load. We would need to daisy chain multiple generators. It's just not a feasible option.
Okay, understood. That was my last question. Go.
Good afternoon, Albert Sablowski for OCC. My first few questions are going to be about fuel inventory. If we could turn to exhibit GB2-2, and the tab is work paper B-4.2.
I apologize. Could you repeat the tab?
Yes, it's WP B-4.2. This is allowance for working capital fuel.
Sorry, I'm handicapped by my computer right now because my mouse disappears anytime I hover over the Excel tabs. So I'm just kind of blindly stabbing at it.
Did the Office of Consumer Counsel provide you with that laptop?
I can't get to that tab page. You might have to give us a sec. I apologize. Or Graham, if you have it open, we can look at it out there.
Let me know when you're ready.
Do you mind if I? All right, thank you. So that was
4.2.
4.2.
4.2. There we go. We got it now.
Okay. So first off, can the company confirm it used the most recent heating oil futures for computing the cost of allowance for working capital fuel when submitting its application?
That's my knowledge. Yeah, it was as of April, the date's on here, so April 30th, 2025.
Thank you. Can the company provide an update to this calculation based on actuals and newest heating oil futures pricing?
Sure.
Whatever is the, what's current available before the late files are due.
That's fine, yes.
So that would be late file. Yeah. 8, I think.
Yeah, that'll be late file exhibit 8, and I have update exhibit GB2-2 working paper B42 with the most current fuel pricing.
Thank you. Can we also make sure that that includes the latest spread between the ultra low sulfur kerosene versus heating oil futures in that calculation? Thank you. In that same exhibit, if you look at row 26, column K, I see CAL 23 house heating oil futures. Is that correct? Or is that just a carryover from a prior year or
I
something?
think
like that?
that's 26. Yeah, I think that label just didn't get updated.
Okay, so it's just the labels hasn't been updated. Okay. Thank you. The truck delivery cost there per gallon, it looks like it's 31 cents. And the next the next cell next to it states per contract. How long is that contract for, and can that change going forward? That's correct.
I don't think that we remember off the top of our head the date, but we can follow up.
Okay. But is that like an annual contract, or you know that?
No, Rob?
Because the question is,
The duration, off
Yeah,
the top of my head.
We're gonna have to follow up.
Yeah, we can
We
find
don't
out.
have the right guy in the room.
okay.
So would that be a late file, meaning you'll have to follow up after today, or a read-in, meaning you could get that information in the next 20 minutes?
Yeah. Why don't we late
Yeah, late
file?
file.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll be late file 9, and it's going to be reference exhibit GB2-2, working paper B4.2, row 28, provide the duration of the fuel delivery contract.
Yes. Yeah. Now, when the delivery service chosen, is that chosen on the total cost basis? Because I mean, there's a delivery piece of it, and there's also the cost per gallon, right? I'm just wondering how the company arrives at choosing its, I guess, supplier. And
Yeah, so I'm not I'm not the expert on the details of that contract, so I think we're happy to get the answers to those questions, but we probably should follow up. I have some idea, but I don't want to misstate anything, so I'd rather follow up with that answer.
Mr. Zapolowski, would it make sense to just modify
that
late file 9 to say provide the fuel delivery contract?
that works. That works.
And that can be filed as a protected exhibit if that's
Yeah,
necessary.
We'll have to confirm that whether that's necessary, but that should be fine.
And can we just make sure that in that same late file, we have an explanation of the surcharges on there as well?
So late file 9 will be provide, I'm at the reference to the same exhibit, but it'll say provide fuel delivery contract and a narrative explaining surcharges.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. If we could now move to one tab prior, that's B-4.1.
Mhm.
And this is spare parts inventory. Okay. Does
Okay.
the are you ready?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Does the company have a listing of what's in their spare parts inventory?
Yes.
And has that been, so it's not just a calculated value, there's an actual inventory with a listing. Okay. Has that been provided anywhere in this application thus far?
No. think we did. Think so, or you don't? I think that it was in here somewhere, but if you want to give it a little minute to dig around, we can confirm that, and if not, we can provide it.
Okay, and so does the value of the items in that listing go up with every year? Not just on a calculated basis that you see in this exhibit?
Stays at cost. But if we go up, we use something to go.
Right. Yeah, so whatever is in the inventory would stay on the books at cost, but then as that inventory is turned over,
Right.
the replacement is coming in at a probably escalated cost.
Okay. Thank you. So is it possible to obtain that listing if it's as a late file, if it's not in the record?
Yeah, that we
Okay.
can do that. We'll try to let you know soon if we find it somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I could. How about this? I can make it late file 10, reference exhibit GB2 working paper B-4.1, provide itemized spare parts inventory. But if the company finds it, the response to that late file could just say reference RRU, whatever. Does that make
That's fine,
sense?
yes.
Thank you. Okay. Same exhibit, but can we go to tab C-2.4, please?
Dash 2.4. Okay.
Okay, on this one. Row 17, it has an outstanding amount of 403,000. The beneficiary listed is quote, unused portion, end quote. Could you explain the unused portion? What does that actually mean? And why does GB2 pay a tiny but still a fee, and to who?
So we have a letter of credit facility that we use to provide all of these letters of credit. And typically, you know, you would try to size that as close as you can to what your needs are gonna be.
Sure.
There is potential for amounts to change over time, and you're not gonna wanna size it exactly, because if you have a small change in a letter of credit, you don't wanna have to go back to your bank and redo the whole facility or ask them for an increase that can result in additional fees and expenses to do that. So that as I believe is just the unused headroom that we have under that facility, and there is, the way those facilities are usually structured, still a small fee that applies to that unused amount.
Thank you. If we turn to RRU 37 attachment, this was discussed prior today. And I just wanted to ask in case I missed it, but the 2025 AFRR tab in there. This is row 13. And it looks like maintenance expense other, and there looks like an adjustment or reversal of $74,700 in there.
I see it.
Could you speak to what that is and what that amount represents?
I'm gonna check with the team.
Mr. Zablasky, could you just repeat where we're?
Sure, it's RRU 37 attachment, and it's the 2025 AFRR tab.
Thank you. As in 2024.
Yep, so
I think
line 13.
Thank you.
we will have to follow up on that one.
So
I'll make that late file 11. It'll be reference RU 37, 2025 AFFR tab. And Mr. Zablasky, you wanted specifically an explanation for the 74,700 reversal from May 2023?
yes, sir.
Got it.
Last question, and this might have been answered already, but did the company have any responsibility to report the transformer failure to PURA? And if so, did you A, do it, and then 2, did you do it in a timely manner?
I am not sure of the answer to that. So I think we may, do you know?
I'm not aware of any.
Yeah, I'm not
obligation
aware
to report that.
of any obligations, and I'd have to review the contract to see if we missed something in there, which I have not done, so.
Would the company like to like opine on that as a late file or their legal team?
If you'd like us to, we can confirm, or Graham may be able to help.
Yeah, if I can jump in here, I don't know if the company's in the appropriate position to be opining via legal counsel in an LFE. I could agree with you here to address it in the brief, if you'd like us to.
Yeah, I think that's the appropriate place to, we've got briefs due on November 17th. So if the company
Yeah,
would address that legal question in the brief,
sure,
that would work.
absolutely.
That works. Thank you, and that's all I have.
Thank
So-
you.
Thanks.
That concludes OCC's cross.
Thank you. I did have one quick follow-up question pertaining to spare parts inventory. I did see the narrative in the pre-filed testimony talking about how there's a expected 5% turnover rate, which is subject to a 4-point-something% inflation adjustment. And I know that reconciles. I was just curious if that 5% turnover rate is consistent with historic actuals. I guess the question is, has the company looked into whether that 5% turnover rate is generally accurate, or if there's any reason to adjust it upward or downward based on actual experience?
Yeah, I think we have looked at it. I don't remember exactly what the comparison was. I think that the actual rate might have been slightly under, but we'd have to go back and look at it. I think that's been a question that's come up in these proceedings in the past, and we've used the 5%. Really, just we maintained the practice of the prior management on what the assumption was, and with the understanding that it is subject to a true up.
Thanks. Could I just ask for one last late file, which would be just if it's possible, within the late file exhibit period, which is between now and November 7th, to just give the actual percentage turnover rate year over year historically?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? Commissioner Beecher? Yep.
Sorry. How old was the transformer again?
13 years.
13. So transformer failures are pretty rare in your understanding? Or in that,
Rare, but not,
generally and in that
not
timeframe?
uncommon.
It can
I
happen.
mean, it does happen.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to mention, I really actually appreciated Mr. Bruno's overview at the beginning. It was helpful to me. So thank you.
All right. That brings us to the end of our agenda today. Except that thank you, thank you, Commissioner Karen. Except I do want to give the company an opportunity. Ms. Attorney Coates, do you need a brief recess to consider redirect?
Please, very brief.
Sure. We could take 5 minutes if that works.
It's not even that.
Thanks. We'll come back at 3. I'll say 3:10, which is only 3 minutes, but we won't hold you whenever, if that
Perfect.
works. Thank you.
you.
Attorney Coates, are you all set? I'm a minute early, but it seemed like there's no reason for us to sit.
Yeah, as expected, no to retract.
Okay. And just for the record, we're back on the record and Attorney Coates has indicated there is no redirect. So that does bring us to the end of the agenda today. I'll just go through the next several dates. They're indicated at the end of the agenda, but late file exhibits are going to be due November 7th at 4 p.m. We're going to have a late file hearing if requested by the parties on November 12th. Briefs will be due November 17th, and we have a tentative proposed final decision issuance date of December 2nd, 2025. Are there any further administrative matters?
One, and I'm not sure it's a formal request at this time, but I just noticed in your resuscitation of the schedule, there is no line item for reply briefs. I think the company would like to reserve the right to ask for one if it deems necessary after the filing of briefs. Would it be more of, if we don't think it's necessary, we don't want to go through the, administrative burden of burdening you of trying to get one. Would it be possible that if after the filing of briefs, we could file a motion if we would like to file one in that time frame?
Yes. Yep. The company, any party can file any motion it chooses, and we would even accept if it's efficient. You could file a motion with your reply brief attached, so a motion to accept.
Likely how it would have to end up being.
Sure. The one caveat is I don't think we can move if that process would necessitate a schedule change that would result in a change to the proposed final decision issuance date on December 2nd. That would need a separate motion for to amend the schedule. That makes sense.
Understood. Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
That, nothing else.
OCC, any administrative matters?
Nothing from OCC.
Thank you. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you, commissioners.